Our design teams work pretty hard trying to do their best to understand people's workflows, understand how people think, make things as usable as we can. You know, we're doing our best to make the best of experiences and make sure that everything's usable in all sorts of different contexts. But it's, as we've started talking about different projects and different experiences we've had, it occurs to me that sometimes the best laid plans just don't work out. It sometimes is impossible to predict how people are going to act, and oftentimes it's really difficult to even mock up or try to replicate a real life scenario. There are just things that happen that make people behave in strange ways that even our best and brightest can't anticipate until after the fact.
Yeah.
Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I can think of many occasions where I sort of had these predispositions of how something is going to go, and then it entirely ends up being this other situation, sometimes completely crazy situations, and then sometimes just unusual, you know. I mean, one that comes to mind is I was observing a glioblastoma resection surgery, and as part of that surgery, they're always moving devices in and out. They usually are pretty long-lived surgeries. They can last anywhere from 5 to 10 hours. And the circulating nurse brought in this device. It's this special little knife that's used for doing really fine little cutting inside the brain tissue. And it has sort of this big electronic box that comes with it, and then a tube, and then the knife is sort of situated at the end of it. And I could see that, so she'd rolled it in, and I could see that it was getting prepared for, but she had some issues sort of trying to get it up and running and started, and it was sort of going back and forth to the IFU, the instructions for use that was attached to the device. And then, of course, I hear the surgeon say, "All right, I'm ready for it. I need my knife now. Okay, bring it over." And she's still sort of fumbling with it, and to give you a bit of context, right? So this is a neurosurgery, so the room is dark, there's not a lot of light, it's hard to see, and she's got a lot of stress coming in from the surgical team, and then the surgeon's saying, you know, why do I not have my knife? I need my knife, I need it now. And then she mutters something along the lines of, yep, I'm just having a bit of an issue with this thing here, and he just kind of blurts out, can somebody just come in here that actually knows how to use this device and get this thing going? And I can just sort of see, like, her, even though I can only see half her face because she was masked up, like, just kind of just the blood draining from her face. And I thought, oh man, this is one of those situations where I'm thinking about the user interface. I'm thinking about, was this device tested in dark rooms? Was it tested in sort of similar situations? But then there was another piece of me that's like, how do you really bring that level of stress in a sort of mock situation? It's very difficult to do.
Right. It's never going to be your career on the line with a surgeon yelling at you, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm sure you can even think of some situations like that, right, where it's not getting used the way that we thought it would.
Yeah. We designed automatic external defibrillators, and as you can imagine, an AED sits on a wall of let's call it a gymnasium or an office environment, and for most of its life, hopefully, it doesn't get used. But there is the instance where someone falls down, is unconscious, and it's time to go get the AED. And we worked through scenarios and tried our best to design a device that was really easy to use in a panicky situation for a bystander. Something that you could just grab. It would immediately go into voice prompts to tell you what to do. You didn't even need to read instructions, really. And modern AEDs don't need you to press the button like you do in the movies. There's nothing involved other than just let the device do its work. It's brilliant, and it saves, you know, tens of thousands of people every year. In actual practice, however, what happens is facilities management outfits a building or an office building, et cetera, with AEDs. They train perhaps 1 or 2 employees how to use it. There's no signage typically for where it is, and more often than not, it sits in a case locked.
Well,
so you can imagine When it comes time to get it, if you have the wherewithal, you're there, you see it, someone says go get the AED, you can find it. It may be in a locked cabinet.
Wow.
So another example of we can train all we want, we can do simulations, we can test, and then in the real context of use, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, users often have, the best of intentions. I'm thinking of a situation where we were doing some observations in a hospital. This was around epidurals, and the doctor, the anesthesiologist that we were working with, he's like, this is great. Today I've got a couple of really good cases for you guys. The first one, she's a nurse. She's totally cool with the observation, all this kind of stuff, and so really habituated to the workflow, so everything will be just fine. And so we're thinking, oh, this is great. We'll be able to ask questions. Maybe we'll be able to ask her questions. This would be super awesome. And so we get in there, and it's just like a complete calamity. Like she's just screaming and yelling at her husband and just telling him all kinds of obscenities and you did this to me and all this other kind of stuff. And we realized, oh wow, like this is sort of a high stakes situation all of a sudden. And so the doc sort of jumped in and did the whole procedure like super fast and got her in a place where she needed to be. And he sort of came back to us and he's like, sorry guys, I had to kind of jump in there. He's like, I promise the next one we'll catch it early enough that I'm not going to have to do this.
Yeah, and that was the one that was going to be the perfect one. She was going to be totally calm and talking your way through the whole thing.
Exactly right. And it was sort of funny because I thought, we're kind of here to see the thing that he didn't even do.
Right.
And so
how much better could you have planned it?
Yeah, I know. Well, exactly right. It seems like often these sort of edge cases, they sort of follow us around, which then kind of raises the question, is it really an edge case? So, but at the end of the day, does help us make better products, right? Because we can really kind of understand the fringes along with sort of that predictable, pedantic workflow. So
yeah, but as people like to say, you always learn something.
Mm-hmm.